Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. So now let's talk about purification in Islam. Purification. Now, in English, my goal is always to use easy English. A lot of times you start, learning on how to pray and how to purify yourself. You'll be, even in English, they will use a word called ablution. Ablution, right? And this is what we'll be talking about. In our case, let's just, we'll try to avoid this word. It kind of disturbs me, but it seems like it's an old English. Maybe I don't know how to speak English, but the key is we want to be using the word purification. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, let's look at the importance. Now, we already talked about importance of prayer, and now the next step is what's the first step before I even get into how to pray? What do I have to say? What are the steps? The first key is purification, and there's many verses in Quran and again, purifying your body, purifying your clothes, purifying your soul. There's a lot of purification. So what am I talking about? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the way, so here's a new word for you. You might see in some Arabic books or English books, it will say SWT. What does that mean? It means Subhana wa ta'ala. Something like that, right? But basically, it means that glorified and exalted be Allah. Glorified and exalted be Allah. So you will say Allah SWT, right? So I'll be using that a lot in our courses. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which basically means Allah the exalted, the glorious. So what does he say? He says, and purify. This is verse from Quran. And purify your garments. Okay, so which means it's not just about body, but you even have to purify your clothes as well. Now there's another saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, where he says that purity is the key to salah. So in order for you to enter a house, you get in from door, you need to have a key in order to enter the house. Purity, and if you want to be entering the state of salah, if you want to be entering the state of prayer, what do you have to do? You have to make sure that you purify yourself, right? Purify your clothes, purify your body as well. Now, another saying of Prophet Muhammad, which basically tops it off, and why, again, we've already figured it out that, okay, you have to pray in order to be a Muslim, right? Then the next thing is, do we need to purify ourselves? I mean, come on. I mean, we go to an interview sometimes without taking a shower or taking a bath. We just make sure that we are looking nice. How about when we're standing in front of Allah? Is it really important to make sure that you are in the state of purification? Yes, because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that salah, your prayer, is not accepted without purification. And that's it. This should be enough for us to know that, yes, we need to make sure that we are purifying ourselves. So now let's go a little bit more detail on this act. When we talk about purification, what are we talking about? There's two types of purification. What are those? Number one is internal. Okay, and this is basically, internal purification is to purify the soul from effects of sins, right? So we're talking about sins. You can have disobedience, right? You can have jealousy, right? Greed. These are all internal purification that we must strive for, and of course salah and other acts of worship will take care of this. But then the second one, which is our topic over here, is the external purification. So even when we get into the external purification, so we got it, internal, fine, it's the jealousy and greed and staying away from disobedience, boasting, and all that, right? Having doubts in Islam, or doubts in the existence of unseen. Those are all internal diseases, internal impurification that we need to make sure that we're constantly purifying ourselves. But even in external, there's two types. Okay, there's one, two. One is simply just making sure that you use water, to clean impurities, impure substances such as urine, or you got your other types of filth that might be on your garments, okay, or your body, right, or your body. So this is simple, just making sure, hey, I see some filth on my clothes, filth on my body, and I need to make sure that I clean myself, and you use water for that. But then there's another one which I would call it ritual, ritual purification, okay, and this is special steps that you have to take. These are steps that you have to take in order to purify yourself, again using water. But again, we'll get into more detail about what do I mean by this ritual purification, where basically, let's say you're not in the state of purification. There's some steps that you have to take, even if you're not dirty, even if you have no filth on your body, but you're considered not in the state of purification, then you have to take those steps. And those are some rituals that you have to take. It's simply, very easy, nothing complicated, but we'll get into that. So this is it for this lesson, talking about the purification. So we mentioned that purification is mandatory, okay? It is mandatory. It is not something that you can take it lightly. We have two types of impurities in Islam that we talk about, which is internal, which is not the subject of this course, and then we have external, which is, and even in external, we can divide it into two types of purification. One of them is simply just, hey, you see some filthy matter on your body or on your clothes, then you make sure you use water and clean it up. And then the second is, even if there isn't any filthy matter on your body or on your clothes, but you're still considered Islamically not in the state of purification, then you have to take some steps in order to purify yourself. And we'll in detail talk about in our next lessons, okay, what is something that is considered impure, and what are these ritual purifications that I'm talking about, that those steps that we have to take in order to purify ourselves, again, in the world of external purification.